Step closely into the shadows, you guys, and maybe lower your voice a bit. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're about to take this incredibly dark narrative journey into a place that has been literally completely erased from the maps. It's the kind of place where the silence is just so heavy, you know? It almost feels like a physical weight pressing right against your chest. We're going to explore the visual and environmental storytelling behind a truly unsettling setting today. Once the mist rolls in, the eyes above open. Just let that haunting warning sit with you for a second, right? Because this isn't just a threat. It is the absolute fundamental rule of the environment we're looking at today. It immediately plunges us right into the suffocating chill of the settlement, really establishing that full sensory experience before we even catch a glimpse of the horizon. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, The Lonely Traveler Arrives. So every great exploration of an abandoned space really has to start with the vulnerability of the person who actually dares to cross its threshold, right? Just look at this solitary figure here. They are completely dwarfed by the environment, taking those very first, super hesitant steps toward the decaying, totally forgotten outskirts of the village. And if you look really closely at that overgrown path, you can almost smell the damp, rotting earth. The mist here, it isn't just weather, it's acting as a literal barrier, basically sealing this lonely traveler off from the modern world they just left behind. It's thick, it's oppressive, and honestly, it sets the absolute perfect psychological stage for what's coming next. Section 2, Huts Hidden in Mist. All right, so now that we've crossed that boundary, our attention kind of naturally shifts deeper into the settlement itself. We're focusing on the really looming, oppressive architecture that's surrounding our traveler. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. These dilapidated, totally jagged wooden huts, they look way less like actual homes and honestly more like rotting teeth just jutting right out of the earth. The heavy, blinding fog is completely swallowing the landscape here, making it literally impossible to see more than just a few feet ahead. There are basically no right angles left anywhere. The moisture and time have totally warped the wood, creating this vibe that just feels deeply unstable and, frankly, completely hostile to human life. They are never truly empty. Now, just take a breath here. Let that creeping dread really sink in for a moment. This whole realization of a hidden presence, it's such a masterful technique when it comes to building narrative tension. Because sure, you might not actually see anyone peeking out of those windows, but the architecture itself, it almost feels alive, like it's harboring some dark secrets right there in the spaces between the floorboards. Section 3, The Watchful Sky. And that brings us to what I think is the most fascinating element of this whole environment. We're shifting our focus upward now to check out the behavioral anomalies of the village's only apparent inhabitants. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it portrays the crows. In our world, crows are incredibly intelligent, right? They can remember individual human faces for literally years. They even hold grudges. But here, they aren't just smart. They're basically acting as silent sentinels. Just look at the massive wingspan and that deliberate positioning of the creature hovering right above the structures. They don't scatter when our traveler approaches. No, they hold their ground, they track, they observe. It completely changes the entire dynamic of the scene, going from just a regular abandoned town to a place of active, malicious surveillance. And this surveillance really builds across the wider environment. Just contrast the bleak, super claustrophobic village streets, cramped, dark, watched by these massive flocks of birds circling the spires, with the terrifyingly empty, dark roads that lead in and out of the settlement, lit by just one failing street lamp. The duality here is honestly horrifying, because the isolation out on that road is absolute, like there is no help coming for you. Yet, once you're within the village, the surveillance is completely inescapable. You are entirely alone, yet somehow, you are never unobserved. Section 4, No Way Out. So we finally reach the chilling climax of our explainer. This is that gut-wrenching moment the traveler, and by extension all of us watching, realizes the full, totally inescapable scope of their predicament. The fog isn't lifting, the road back is completely gone, and those eyes up above, yeah, they remain fixed right on you. So the crucial point is, who are the crows really reporting to? Really think about the sheer intelligence we just analyzed in their behavior. Sentinels don't just watch for the fun of it, they guard and they report. So what kind of ancient, unseen power is actually governing this desolate place? The absolute brilliance of this visual narrative is that it flat out refuses to give you the monster. It only gives you the monster's spies, totally forcing your mind to fill in all those dark, terrifying gaps yourself. We're going to conclude today by just lingering on this darkly atmospheric street. The cobblestones are wet, the ancient buildings are literally leaning toward each other, and you've got this green, sickly light from the moon barely even penetrating the mist. The village remains exactly as it has for centuries, and it leaves us with one final, deeply provocative thought to chew on. Did the lonely traveler we followed at the very beginning ever truly leave this place? Or did they just succumb to the damp and the absolute dread, slowly becoming just another quiet shadow lost in the mist?